Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer with Oculus Rift Reviews, now with Windows Mixed Reality as well. Today we're going to review Horror Adventure VR, a game released on the Steam Store July 4th, 2020 by Yash Future Tech Solutions, Private Limited. It's available for the HTC Vive, Valve Index, and the Oculus Rift. It normally retails for $10. I got a free Steam key through the Steam Creator Connect program. This is labeled as an interactive experience set in a procedurally generated haunted house. And you're a paranormal investigator, and you're exploring to see what appears to be an old abandoned manor. It sounds interesting, and it does remind me a bit of Affected the Manor. There's a couple things to note here is that this has no turning whatsoever. There is no snap or smooth turning. You have to turn in real life. There is full locomotion, but you're moving at a snail's pace. Now, as far as the procedural generation, I have to be honest, there were only a few differences that I noticed. I did try two separate playthroughs. On my first playthrough, where I got pretty far, I think I got near the end. I'm not 100% sure because I've not seen a single video of a person going farther than I got. And you'll see it towards the end of this video. I got stuck, and I'm not sure exactly what happened. I tried everything I can think of to get past that part of the game. And I don't know if the game was bugged or there's something I missed. I'm going to assume it's something I missed, but I kind of feel like it was a bug because I literally tried everything possible I could imagine, and there was just nothing left to do. So I had to start a new game, and during the new game, I really only honestly noticed a few differences, and a lot of the stuff was exactly the same as my first playthrough, so beware of that. The procedural generation is not as interesting as it may sound. Obviously, this makes you want to play the game again just to see those differences, but it's not really worth it just because the game as a whole has too many issues for me to recommend. So I actually enjoy Affected the Manor. Now, this game is a lot longer. I want to say that I played an hour on my first playthrough, and I still didn't reach the end. So that is good length, especially for a horror game. We don't have too many horror games with that kind of length. Now, I would call this a walking simulator. There's really nothing complicated about the gameplay. There's not really what I would call puzzles. A lot of this gameplay is just looking for keys or following the correct steps to progress the game. And that's where it can get tricky because it's not always very clear what steps you need to take for the game to progress. Now, this game is running on the Unity engine, and I didn't really notice any performance issues or problems. For the most part, it was running at 90 frames per second. Now, there were times where I did notice frame rate drops, and at the start menu, the main menu, I did notice it was running not so well. There was some warping on the edges, but once I started to play the game, I really didn't notice too many issues. Just like I said, just a few frame rate drops here and there. For the most part, it was running pretty smoothly, which is not surprising because the graphics honestly just aren't very good. This game does have poor lighting. It does have spatial audio, which is great when it works. So this is a mixed bag game. There are times where the audio is done perfectly, and I applaud the devs for that because there were certain sections of the game where the sound was really good, and you could hear something creepy right behind you. If you look, you're gonna get scared. So that's one thing this game does right at times. However, there were other times where there were just clear issues and bugs. There you see what I assume is a bug. I don't know. You saw the ghost, the apparition clipping through the object. I don't know if it was meant to look like that. But either way, it looked ugly, and so for the most part, this game has several really rough animations. The 3D models aren't the best, and there's several reused assets. So here you see those three, I don't know what they are, zombies, whatever. They're all have the same facial feature, the same body type. They just have slightly different clothing or slightly different poses. That's one thing this game does. It does reuse a lot of assets. So you'll be seeing some of the stuff that you've seen before several times. If you see one 3D model, you're going to see it later in the game. If you see one painting on the wall, you're likely to see it later in the game. This game does reuse several assets. It kind of brings down the overall quality. Like I said, the lighting is good. Well, I won't say it's good. It's artistic, I suppose. I'm not sure how to label the lighting. The lighting is not good overall. Okay, it's poor lighting, but at least you can see clearly when you're supposed to. At least when you're using like a flashlight or a candle, it lights up the appropriate area, but it's never realistic. And overall, I would say the lighting is just better than your average horror game, just because usually in most horror games the lighting is so terrible. So I don't want to say the lighting is good. It's not. It's bad, but it's better than the average horror game in VR. So there's that. It's just not very realistic. It's stylized lighting, I guess, but overall I would say it's just poor. There's several dark sections of the game that just don't look good, and yeah, I mean, lighting is used to good effect, I suppose. That's the best compliment I can give for the lighting, but overall I would say the lighting is poor. Kind of like the sound. The sound is really good at times, but it's so bad in other parts that, overall I would say the sound is bad, even though it has good spatial audio at times. Like I mentioned, the gameplay is, there's just not a lot of depth to the gameplay. You're looking for keys, you're looking to progress the game by following some certain sequences the game wants you to do. Stuff like opening doors or whatnot, you see like a little highlighted white symbol telling you to touch there. All the interactions are very basic, very poor, very rudimentary, very 2016. So overall, the quality of this game is just not very good. This game does have jump scares, and yeah, I did get some scares at times from this game, just from the jump scares. But overall, I would say it's a rather poor horror experience. I really wasn't having fun or enjoying the game. The only interesting stuff is that there's so many jump scares that some of them do work. Most of them didn't, though. So I say, yeah, some of the jump scares got me, most of them did not. So yeah, it wasn't really scary overall. Yeah, I mean, some of them surprised me. You're caught off guard, basically. But those are the only type of scares this game can produce. It can't really produce anything based on proper pacing of the game or proper atmosphere or proper storytelling. It's just they just try so many different things that some of them work and some of them are laughable, like that one you just saw. It's just laughably bad. Overall, I cannot recommend this game. It's $10. I don't have high expectations for a $10 experience, especially one with this much content. So the one good thing about this game for the price is you are getting good content. And if you're okay with putting up with just poor interactions, poor graphics, mixed sounds, mixed effects, poor animations, you do have a good bit of content here. And I would say it's still better than the average VR horror game, just because the average VR horror game is just so bad. There's so many terrible VR horror games. So how do I rate this? Oh man, I'm almost breaking my own rule here when I rate the game and score it. But I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 10. Now, that doesn't make sense because usually I say if a game is better than the average, I'll give it a 6 or at least a 5 if it's average. But in this game, it's 2020 and I really expect better from VR horror game. and this just doesn't cut it. There's better games, like I said, Affected the Manor, in my opinion, is still better, even though it's a shorter game. You'll have more fun playing that game. And there's just several other better VR horror adventure games as well. It's just poor overall, and I can't recommend it. I know it's only $10, and I know it's better than the average VR horror game, but that's only because the average VR horror game is just really bad. So I hate to give a positive recommendation for a game that I didn't enjoy, that's poorly made, that has this many issues and bugs as this game has. One of the bugs, and I haven't mentioned it yet, is the motion controls. I have no idea what's going on. They're so bad in this game. And I played Beat Saber before and after this game just to make sure my motion controllers were tracking fine within Beat Saber. But for whatever reason, when I played this game, they were all over the place at times, and I have no idea why. Not all the time, but just randomly. My motion controllers would drop lower than I was or go higher. Again, just little stuff like that that really takes the enjoyment out of the game. And for $10, I just expect slightly better quality. I know it's not a lot of money, but I just can't recommend this game. I would only recommend this game if you're just a big fan of horror and you're willing to put up with a lot of jank to the game, a lot of lack of polish. So if you're willing to put up with the lack of polish, there is a nice bit of content here, and there's some really nice moments in this game. But overall, I would say it's poor, and I don't recommend it. So that's why I'm rating it a 4.5 out of 10. I'm Fast Lawyer. I'm with Oculus Rift Reviews. If you like my review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any idea what you're supposed to do in this section, how you get past this last part, and you'll see that I do figure out part of it, by picking up this doll and putting him in the right place. But what happens after that, what you're supposed to do after that, I have no idea. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.